Welcome to the American Free Thinker. Today's topic that I need to get off my chest is race relations. First, I'll give my opinion on it. Second, some history. As far as race relations go, and I actually have quite a bit of experience on this throughout my college career. I've probably written 3, maybe 4 papers on the topic. At least 2 of them. I had a speech after that and a question answer period. And the one thing I led off with each time, and one of the classes was an African Studies class, and what I led off with each time was the fact that, well, right now in this case it's 2018, that it's not 1818 and it's not 1918, and that today there is no such thing as racial problems. What it is the Democrat Party doing what they do best, which is making people hate the Republican Party and conservatives. Let me explain what I mean by that in more detail. You can trace back from the beginning that that's what the Democrat Party does. They don't have an actual platform that they can go to a normal, hardworking American and say, this is what we're for, because what they're for is big government. They're for power. From their inception, it was all about power. So because they can't come out and give an actual platform, what they had to do, and this is right from their playbook, which is Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals, and that is, it's real simple. It's kill the messenger if you can't kill the message. In other words, they concentrated and did everything in their power to make people hate the Republican Party, hate conservatives, by calling them, well, in this case, racist. And they really have been doing this, I don't know, 30s and 40s, but it really kicked in the 60s when they really put the black community in its worst shape, and it got worse and worse and worse. And by that I mean, you can look back on their standard of living actually has gotten worse. Their family cohesiveness has gotten worse. And how they did that is, like I said, by making not just the black community, but as many white people as possible, because all of their little groups, like the women's groups, the elderly groups, the college students, and whatever minority group and immigrant groups, so they have all these little groups. But all they have to do is get people to hate the Republicans and keep saying it and putting it in their head that Republicans are racist. Republicans, they have to hate them, and the conservatives as well. So even though this topic is race relations, so it's basically how the white and the black communities get together and how they communicate and how good things are going, my premise is that it's all fake. It's fake anger. It's fake outrage. And what they do, and these are the leaders, again, this is the leadership. For instance, the elitists politician, the elitist professors, and then of course the unions. They have their group of leaders. They then get the overseers, which is the NOW organization, the NAACP, the unions. You've got your Jesse Jacksons, your Sharptons, people like that are the leaders of their community. They give them a good life as long as they keep their people voting Democrat. How do they do that? Not by giving them actual true ideas, but again, to hate Republicans and conservatives. That's all they have to do. As long as the people hate one group, they're going to vote for their group. It's as simple as that. So some quick history. And I've gone over this, I think, in a couple other videos or audio. Obviously, everyone knows that the Democrat Party was formed basically to tie the Northern Democrat Party, where they had their power with the immigrants coming in. Again, look up Tammany Hall. And they needed a political party for slavery. That's the Democrat Party. Moved to the Civil War. It was a war between the Republicans and the Democrats. A big majority of white people in the South did not own slaves. So the slave owners needed that political party, the Democrats. It was the Democrats that, even though they lost a war, they hung around during the years after that. That's when they formed the KKK. Because when Reconstruction was going on, the black community was doing very well. I can't remember which black leader it was, but he was speaking in front of Congress, and they basically asked him, what can we do for the slaves, the ex-slaves, now that the war is over? I think it was Frederick Douglass. And what he said was, leave us alone. Don't try to help us. Don't do anything for us. Let us do it for ourselves. Now, does that sound like Sharpton or Jackson or Obama? No. So what the Democrat Party did is they ended Reconstruction by using the KKK to scare as many people as they can. This is where the Republican Party screwed up, as our leaders were weak. Literally, our leaders of the Republican Party were weak, from Abe Lincoln to Ronald Reagan. That's literally all they did. Was they just stuck to themselves. This was our beliefs, freedom for everybody. They kept trying to push the Civil Rights Act through, but the Democrat Party stopped it every possible chance they had, and they regained power in the South. Then they had their Jim Crow laws. Remember, this was all the Democrat Party. So how does a party of slavery and racism and white supremacists, how do they get the black vote? That doesn't make any sense. Well, one way is to destroy the family. And that's what they did. Because the black family was doing extremely well, especially all things considered, coming off of slavery and then Reconstruction ending, as far as their family. And they were starting to get into the community, especially up north. The Democrat Party ended that by helping out the ones that weren't doing as good. By saying, you vote for us, we'll give you money. In order to give you money, you can't have a man and a woman living in the house. You got to just have the woman. That was in the 60s. That's when they really kicked it up another notch. And that's why you went from, and I've said this before, you go from the cotton plantation to the urban plantations. So all this being true, nothing they could say would actually get people to believe that they are not the evil party that they are, unless they somehow convinced people that it was the Republicans. And that's what they did. So even though this is the race relations, and people will try to point out all the different problems in the black community, again, there is no KKK anymore. They're basically about the size of a bunch of guys in a garage, basically just drinking beer and circle jerking. Okay, that's all they are. They literally are nothing. They have no power. The white, they want to call them white supremacists, the people, the white people who not necessarily are against the black community, but they just want that white pride, like the BLM is black pride. And they're nothing. They have no power. You hardly even hear anything about them. So how can racism be such a huge topic if there just literally isn't any? There is not any systemic racism going on. No one can ever point out where there is. All the numbers are against the fact that they say that there is this systemic racism. But even though the Democrat Party was the party of the racists, all they are doing is convincing the black community to hate the Republican Party, and we'll give you money as long as you vote for us. That is the only race issue out there. And then the black community, and I think bit by bit they might start coming around and realizing this, that the only race relation problem is not Republicans or the conservatives, but the Democrat Party lying to them. So I'll be able to get more into it once I am able to get the actual talk show going. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thanks for listening. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the bell. If you're listening to this on Facebook or on my webpage, please share, like it, and hopefully I will be back in less than a week with another video or audio. Thank you.